Welcome to Around the Reel with your hosts, Aaron Carlson, Charles Lawson, and Samantha Hannah. Ah, shit. Here we go again. Oh, that was rude.
No, I'm just saying you're normally sassy.
Oh, yeah.
She's a sassy Sam.
It wasn't supposed to be rude. You just took it wrong. Just bend over and take it another way or something. I don't know.
That's
Yeah, poor girl. She's like, what's going on?
she jumps right in.
Hi, can you hear
Everybody.
us?
Hey, how are you? Good morning.
Good.
morning.
Good.
I like your backdrop. I want to go hop in
I
that
know.
pool back there.
Look at that
I
shit.
was
you.
gonna say, is it
Thank
morning?
you.
I feel like we just got done filming a couple minutes ago.
We kind of did.
She
Well,
got
you
us-
guys kind of did. I hid, but.
She's got a swimming pool in the background and shit. Wait a minute. What's going
So
on?
we're
What
going to come over to your house and do the podcast.
I know. Is this like?
You're welcome. Come on over. I
Yay.
have all white walls in my house, so I thought I'd give you a view.
Oh, she got a dog too. Okay, so yeah, we don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I
always
have one
something
at
that
back.
brings the
Stop it.
picture down, you know.
How
Freaking
are you?
dog.
Nice to meet everybody. I'm Esther. How's it
Hi,
going?
Esther.
Hello, Esther.
So nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Esther. Thank you for showing up today on our show.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
We usually just start out with a bunch of banter and then we will introduce you and get into what you do.
Yeah.
But guys, I have something
Love
to
it.
tell you.
Oh shit.
Wait, you have something to tell us?
Yeah.
That's weird. Usually we tell you everything to do. I mean, or give
That
you
is
ideas.
true.
Or
That is
I give
true.
up. I don't stop. Go
But
ahead.
no, so today is a feel-good day, I feel like, because we got good reviews on the movie.
Which movie is that, Sam?
The Giant Pacific Octopus movie. My
You
movie.
mean this movie right here? This movie right
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
that's now live on Tubi TV is getting good reviews.
Yeah.
This one right here. For
That
those of
one
you
right
watching,
there.
you'll see this. But for those of you listening,
right
over
there.
my left shoulder is our poster for the Giant Pacific Octopus.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
great.
so that's been good.
Yeah.
Very, very good reviews on that. But also, I received this message from this guy, and he does this show. It's on YouTube, and he's all about like the negativity. There's too much, so he's trying to build the positivity and stuff. And I sent him a link to our podcast, and he was like, "I love the way that you guys interact, the three of you."
Oh.
With
And
each
I
other
was
or
like-
other people?
With
I think
the
everything
three
in
of-
general. I think we did great.
Between the three of us, but with other people, yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, you can figure it means whatever you want it. to.
Well, you don't want me to figure out what it means because I'll make it weird no matter what.
But it was a very nice compliment,
Yeah.
That is very cool.
and it reminded me like we're in the right place, doing the right thing.
We're on the right path. Absolutely.
Right path.
Yeah, we sure are. No, that's great, Sam. So feel good. So how do you feel day one with your movie finally being released on a major platform and people watching it?
I feel really relaxed about it for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be rude, but that sounds weird coming from you.
I know.
I know. I thought she'd be more like intense. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like teeth grinding intensity.
Yeah, I don't feel that.
That's good.
Good.
Well, good for you.
You shouldn't feel that. You should be relaxed
You know,
about the
I'm
idea.
very
You should be
proud.
excited about it.
I am excited. I'm very proud.
You had a baby and it looks like an octopus. I mean, it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
great.
you're gonna make people want to like do what my man did in The Boys. They're gonna love octopus so much they're gonna have him like.
Oh, don't,
You know.
no.
No,
Nobody's
let's
gonna-
not.
Let's not
just
go back
we're
to
not gonna
what
do
the
that.
deep did to the poor
Yeah.
octopus.
Okay.
And don't do human centipede type shit either.
I won't do
We're
that.
not doing that.
It's not
Not
gonna
that,
happen.
it's not that kind of podcast.
Even though we had
It's not
Robert
that kind of
Lasardo on.
documentary.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
we did.
Lasardo
We had
on. He was in
Lasardo
Human
on.
Centipede. You know, you
Yeah.
gotta respect the movie. That's a brutal
respect
movie
what
to watch.
everybody does.
I've never finished that movie.
Can't do it.
I can't even
The
get
first
to the
one or the
sequels.
third one?
Any of them.
None of them, dude. I can't do it. The ass to mouth, I can't do. I can't do it. I can't do it. Ain't gonna happen.
Well,
no.
well, Esther, if you haven't had a chance to listen to a couple episodes, I'm hoping that we're not
I'm
shocking
sorry.
you, but you didn't turn off your screen
I don't
yet,
know.
so I'm guessing we're okay on our conversation here. So, what do you think about
Okay.
ass to mouth and human centipede? Okay.
I actually can say one thing about this. I was asked to AD Human Centipede 3, but I did turn it down.
You turned it down.
Oh,
Was
that's
it-
the one
Yeah.
Lasardo was in.
I think he was in
Yeah.
there.
Was that
yes.
for the moral of it, or was it just because it's the third one? Who the hell's going to watch it?
Probably no morals about it. It was just scheduling conflict.
Oh,
But
okay.
they wanted a female director. Well, I mean, I didn't really. It wasn't my greatest idea to want to do that. But but they wanted a female AD.
Okay.
I think the director was a German or something. I don't know what was
Okay.
going on, but
Does that matter?
Anyway.
Well, how's that matter? Like, if you're German
I don't
director, you're
know.
like, I need a
I
girl.
don't know.
I need a girl lady.
I don't.
He's
I
German.
don't
He
know.
wanted he wanted a blonde female.
Fair
You know
enough.
what,
that
guys?
that makes sense.
All
Let me
Germans
just say
want blonde
this.
females.
Everyone needs a girl AD.
Well, yeah, you're probably
You're
right.
not lying.
You're probably right.
I'm not lying. I know.
I love it when I have a girl on set. She doesn't always, but I do.
Guys, what would this show be without me? I mean, everyone needs a girl.
No, you're right about that.
I said a girl on set. We have amazing women in film that we get to work with around here.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
And no, I'm not covering my ass for legal reasons.
Yeah, you better.
Trust me, our attorney is awesome.
Yeah.
What the fuck's his name?
Yeah. I don't know yet.
Oh, I guess
Oh,
we should
wait.
start looking in the phone book.
Yeah, we should. Oh, God. Okay. Well, everybody, welcome to Around the Reel.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Around the Reel.
Welcome
Yes.
to Around the Reel.
We have Esther Johnson today.
Yes, we
We're
do.
so excited to talk to her.
Hell
She
yeah.
is such a phenomenal female in film.
This is crazy, the amount of shit that you've done, Esther.
Yeah.
I mean, we are pretty, well, I wouldn't say pretty good friends. I think we're pretty good friends with everybody, but we're great friends with Rick.
Rick, yeah.
Coach
Coach
Rick.
Rick.
He's
Coach
our-
Rick,
yeah.
right? I know.
Adore.
I love him so much.
We do
love
too. We fell in love with him a long time ago. Chuck was really in love with him. Probably wanted to
Wait,
do
no,
some
that
things
was
to him.
me.
Well, I know that, but that's different. It's just, it's
You
more
had
fun when
you
Chuck
had
wants to
you
fondle
had
another
You
man.
had an emotional attachment
I did.
to
I had
him,
an
which is
emotional
awkward because the fact that he's trying to coach you up on feeling better about yourself, but at the same time, it's almost like you're having an affair
No.
from Aaron with Rick because you're giving him so much.
He
Yeah,
looks
it's
like
like an
my
emotional
dad.
affair.
so
And gave
you just
until it was
stop being
like-
Yeah, it was an emotional affair, but I'm
Yeah.
good with it. I'm fine.
But yeah, and I don't mind reaching out and touching people. So Rick, come on over, buddy. I'll touch you.
We're waiting for him to come to the studio.
Cut.
We're
That's
all
right.
going to
It's
be
amazing
touching.
that we don't get in studio guests more often.
He's fantastic, and he's the one that kind of referred you to us.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I didn't get a chance to look at your work until actually this morning.
Actually, we didn't realize how much of your work we'd seen
Yes.
Yeah.
So
until this morning. It's like, holy shit, damn.
She did
Yes.
that? Oh my god, she did part of that? Oh my gosh.
It's
We
fucking
were
insane.
Oh,
like-
funny.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's
Like the stairs, like just stuff like that.
Yeah,
We were shocked.
I mean, one of my favorite shows that I watched was Black Summer. I love it. I absolutely adore that Netflix series. It's fucking great, and I think it's so underrated. But it's anyway. Before we get into all that stuff,
yeah.
Esther, please let yourself be known to our audience and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for having me, everybody. Very happy to be here. I'm Esther Johnson. I'm a first AD. I've been a member of the DGA for about going on 9 years.
What's the DGA for people that don't
For the Directors Guild of America.
Awesome.
So it's like it's the
I knew that, but some people
for
might not.
for the assistant directors. No, fair enough. And let's see. I love my job. I started out as a first AD, which is a little unusual. Usually people in the industry start in a different field, that want to go down that route. They start as a production assistant and then maybe a second AD, maybe then a second, and then they eventually become a first. But I just kind of started as a first, so it's a little bit unusual. So that's all I've really ever done. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you asked me to be a second AD,
You're like,
the world would be
no.
over. I'd be a horrible second AD.
Oh no.
But yeah, I started in very low budget stuff. I went to college, I moved down to LA, I took a film course for a year, and then I just started doing a lot of work for free, basically, for like the first year I was down here, but got to do a lot of awesome projects, like lots of really cool indies, et cetera, et cetera. And then I got hooked up with this company that's called The Asylum. They're famous for those Sharknado movies.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I did all of them. And
You
the
think
director's a
they-
good friend of mine.
They blended together so much you didn't know where one started and one stops. I think I did all of them. There's up to like what, 7
Yeah.
now?
That's kind of
There's
how
a
you feel
lot.
when you're watching the movie. You're like, where am I? What's going on? How did I get here? But so I did a bunch of like low budget stuff and like Lifetime movies and those things. And then I was hired actually to do this that kind of changed my career, was doing Z Nation up in Spokane, Washington.
Yeah.
And so I was there like 6 months out of the year, and I had some family that was in Idaho over in Sandpoint anyway. So I was really familiar with the area, and just started working on that show. And so, we did 5 seasons of that, and it was so much fun. It was awesome. The film community there is so great. The extras we had were so great. It was just, I met Coach Rick there, obviously,
Yeah,
the greatest
yeah.
man ever.
Uh-huh.
And then, just sort of moved on from there. But that's kind of
That's your
In
story.
a nutshell. In a nutshell, that's what it
So
is.
let me,
Yeah.
let me see.
Badass.
This is
Yeah.
how. By the way, this is how
Exciting.
everybody can jump in what you're doing when it comes to this industry. Is basically someone asks a question about something, how something works on a camera, and Esther was like, "I got that. I know." And they said, "Oh, great, your first AD." Okay. What the fuck do I do?
All right.
I got it. And then
Exactly.
from there, it's just like, boom. What do you do? I'm the first AD.
Yeah, right.
Not the
I
second.
just like to be the person bossing everyone around and making the schedule, I think, and just keeping the track up. So it was just kind of when I took the film course, they didn't really talk about a first AD as a film position. Like I wasn't actually aware of that. We did like
Yeah.
writing courses, producing, load the camera, all the like director of photography, but there wasn't an AD, but I always just ended up getting chosen in the little groups as, like if I wanted to be organized, like you guys got to do it right. And so
Right.
I think it was just a natural sort of job. And I was like, wow, there's a whole job that does this. This is perfect for my personality. Great.
That's
It's
awesome.
probably annoying to some people, but I love it.
Annoying. Oh my God, no. You're a queen.
Big time. Big time. Hey, okay,
Thanks,
so
guys.
I'll tell you, when we started making movies, at least I'm speaking for myself here, I had no idea what a lot of these positions were. No clue. Like
Right.
zero.
He just put his name behind every one of them.
Yeah, I just did all the shit, and I'd have to
Yeah.
go to Google and look up and I'd look at the scroll from other like real movies and go, okay, I'll take that. That sounds like something I did, and I'll take that and I'll put my name on that. And Chuck did this, and I'll put it in, and Sam did this, but I had no clue what they were. So for filmmakers out there just starting out, because I know we've got a lot of indie filmmakers that listen to this show. What in your definition is an AD? What do you specifically do?
Oh, it's a long list of things, but I suppose to sort of discuss the major ones. So you basically are given a script, you break down the script. So the first thing you're doing is you're breaking down the script. And what that means is, each script has a scene like interior, Sam's office, daytime. Robert's in there with Sam and they have a dog and they have a cocktail and they're doing this.
That
and
sounds
they need a
fun.
bed
It
and
sounds like
blah, blah, blah,
actually,
right?
it sounds like here.
Right.
I don't know why I went on that route, but
It's
anyway.
perfect. It's perfect.
I love it.
It's-
Whatever.
I'm already watching. I'm
I
living
just,
the
I
movie.
just yanked my foot out from underneath the
Guys are
fucking
there.
dog.
But this is the thing. So each scene has, characters, props, the set design. Are there animals there? Are there any stunts there? Like just anything that's in a scene. Basically, the AD will break down into a program. The common program that's used is called Movie Magic, which is a pretty user-friendly program. You can take a couple courses and you can do it.
Mhm.
So you break down all of that and then you put it into a schedule. So, I'll talk to the line producer or the UPM and I'll, how many days are we trying to shoot this? Or they'll say, just make a schedule and tell me how long you think it's going to take to actually do all this stuff. Usually it doesn't work that way. Usually they go, you got 7 days to do all this stuff.
And you got to squeeze it in.
Yeah, you said
gotta
11.
squeeze it
You're
all
wrong.
in. Yeah. But really it's a 9-day schedule and they're like, put it in 7. So you learn how to do that, but it makes you better at your job. So basically you put all this into a schedule. You schedule by a lot of different variables, locations, actor availability, costume changes, makeup changes, set changes, maybe we can only afford the dog for one day, so we're gonna put all the dog scenes together. I mean, whatever it is, you work within the constraints of the parameters that that they're giving you, which is left field sometimes. And who knows, everybody's got all kinds of conflicts all the time, and it's an ever evolving thing, which is like a really important thing to understand with the schedule. It's never a final schedule. Something
You
will
can't
always
live
come
by
up
it.
to change it.
No.
You can't live by it. This is a guideline. This is what we're going for until something happens, then we got to change it. But that's the cool thing about it, because sometimes a lot of these conflicts really guide you into a much better schedule, than you may have done originally. But anyway, so basically you make this schedule, you talk to the director, you go location scouting, you talk to all the department heads, head of makeup. All right, I've got this lady. She's got a big scar on her face in this scene. How long is it going to take to put this scar on? How long is it going to take it off?
So
How
you
many times do
organize
do this?
everything.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
organize everything. You
Wow.
organize everything. So you literally interface with every single department head. This is all pre-production. You have your little meetings with everyone, and you have a big production meeting, so everybody's kind of on the same page, where you go through the strips, and then you go, all right, here's a global review. On this day, we're going to do all the car stunts. On this day, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then once you get to set, so that's kind of like the first part of the job, which I really enjoy. And then the second part is running the set. So running the set is basically like you're the
Boss lady?
HBIC? Is it HBIC? I don't know.
Head bitch
Whatever.
in charge.
Yeah.
You're the head bitch in charge.
Yeah.
And the crew, I mean, you're also in charge of safety. I mean, you have a very big job. It's not only putting up with all the shenanigans from the actors sometimes, but you know, you're managing a crew, and you can be managing a crew of 10, you can be managing a crew of 200. You know, it's
Right.
but you're responsible for everyone's safety. So you got to make sure everybody's doing what they're doing, that all safety precautions are being followed, and you're still trying to run the set. I mean, it's a big job, but you know, on bigger shows, you'll have multiple ADs under you that you can kind of disperse to tackle all these certain things. Like you're doing on the background, you're making sure no one goes in the street here. You know, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're bringing the cast.
And
so,
these are your second ADs? Is that
so yeah,
how it
so
goes,
the second
or-
AD, yeah, so a second AD generally, even though it's an assistant director, they have a totally different job than the first AD. The second AD is really like the nucleus, and you won't know that you have a good second AD unless they fuck up. So basically, you have.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does
Sorry,
make
can I
sense.
say fuck? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah.
watch your fucking mouth. This is a
Okay.
fucking family show that's,
It
explicit
is.
rating.
It is a family show, but people get
I mean,
it. Yeah.
sorry guys.
Yeah.
It's a ghetto family show.
No, it's a real family show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Anyway,
It's a
continue.
real family show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second AD is basically like the nucleus. So like I was saying, you won't know you have a really good one, because if you have a really good one, everything just runs smoothly.
Good.
And you're like, oh yeah. But if they're bad, you know instantly, and everything crumbles. I mean, it
Oh,
can
no.
really make or break you, no matter how much you're doing on set, because you can't get the actors, and they've messed up stuff for the next day and whatever. But basically their job is to set up the next day. So I make this schedule. I give them this movie magic file. They've listened to all of the meetings. They've gone through the prep with me usually. So they should know what the heck's going on. You know, and I give like a little rundown every day with my team. I'm like, all right, this is all the stuff that's happening. Because, you know, you got to have a meeting every morning. You have to have a safety meeting for sure with the crew. But it's good. Like every day that will start well, we'll start with the meeting. You know, you just kind of, here's the same page, everybody. But the second AD, basically, you know, they make the call sheet. So they'll take my schedule, they'll input it for the next day. You know, this is where we're going to be. This is the time. You know, there's a whole template for a call sheet. These are all the scenes that are going to be shot. These are all the elements that are needed for that scene. These are all the crew that's going to show up for this. And so they'll go in the morning or at lunch, take my call sheet, they'll distro it to the crew, and they'll get notes they'll interface with all the department heads again, like, we're still on the same page for the horse and carriage tomorrow, right? You guys are still building this, right? Like, so they'll just set up everything for the next day. So if they don't get it all together, you show up the next day and it's not there, that's going to be a big problem. And that happens sometimes, you know, but yeah. But then you have other kind of second ADs. They're called second seconds. Those are your helpers on set. That's like my right-hand person on set that I can kick off anything to, that just backs me up, attends to whatever I need to attend to, what needs to be attended to if I need to be with the director. And you can have multiples of those. You know, when you have big background days, you'll have additional second seconds that'll be there to kind of corral the background and give them their notes. And
Do you always
you know,
have those?
Yeah, so I mean, certainly in my career in the beginning, you know, it was lower budget stuff. So you didn't have all those people, but you know, you would have some production assistants, but there's a level of skill there that's different sometimes. You know, production assistants are usually newer people. They're getting into the industry. You know, they're great at getting you coffee and doing the grunt work and doing those things. I mean, most people start in that position and they build their way up. Not to say that there aren't some really good career production assistants, because there are, and those people are fantastic, and I love those people. Hard to find though sometimes. But yeah, you know, the assistant directors, depending on, you know, if it's a guild show, those people have had to turn in, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of days and take courses and do all kinds of things to kind of be where they are. So experientially, they've had, you know, you can go, we know that they've had at least this amount of experience. Doesn't make them good necessarily, but
Yeah.
They've been on the sets. Doesn't mean that
Well,
they've paid attention.
experience doesn't necessarily make you good. Well, neither does education, but you never know.
right,
Just-
totally,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm.
But this kind of, I feel like this job, you couldn't really, sorry, I dropped my AirPod, 1 second.
No,
You're good. You're good.
You're good.
I feel like
She
this
just wanted to
job,
show us the pool again.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to come jump
gratuitous
in.
pull shot.
But yeah, I feel like this is a job that, you know, it would have been great for me to have a mentor, but I really didn't ever. I kind of just had to learn, you know, how to do it. But I would have benefited tremendously earlier had I been able to watch a really good first AD run a set,
Right.
or been able to sort of ask them those questions. I think that kind of experience is invaluable, but you kind of have to do it to get it. You know what I mean?
like
It's not something
organically,
can read
you
about.
organically like grew your career, which is I think
Right.
is amazing because it's all experience.
Oh, thanks.
It's all just what you've learned from what you've been through.
Right. You get in
It was
there and
just
do the
trial and
shit.
error. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get in there and
Yeah,
you
that's
do the
right.
shit. You put
And you know
yourself
what?
on the
Yeah.
line.
You got thrown in the snake pit, and that's hard. I did that bartending.
Yeah.
I
And
got
you
just
gotta be a
thrown in.
badass to
Yeah.
do it.
Just
That's
thrown
what's
in,
fucking
and
dope.
you just got to do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
Yeah.
hard. It's
Is
hard as hell, and you have
is
lots of
somebody
bad
at your
nights.
front door?
There is. I just installed a ring. It
Yeah.
took about five days to install it, and there
We can
is
take a
somebody
break.
there.
We can take a break if you want.
Do you need
No,
backup?
no, I don't know them. That's just something I'm bringing
Yeah.
in.
Just get one of your seconds to go check
Yeah.
the front door.
Guys,
yeah.
my minions. No,
Go check the front door. Make sure you use the peephole though.
And maybe you get a third around there somewhere too. They can do that. Bring you a coffee or a
What
drink.
the
or
hell's a
some
third
shit.
turd?
A third turd?
A third turd?
I
That's
said
the
third
dog,
turd, but
right?
you can say third turd all day long. I think that's fun. I love it.
I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know either. We're just
Unimportant,
gonna.
though.
You never taken a third turd?
Well,
You-
no.
okay.
No, I'm good.
I've only taken like 2 turds a day at the most. I've
Okay,
never
guys,
taken a 3
we
turd. Okay, sorry.
are not here to talk about
Okay,
your
Esther,
shitting.
Esther.
Yes,
I gotta tell you.
But we've always talked shit.
We're not today.
I gotta tell you, what you are explaining to everyone out there, I love, because what you're showing people is how much work goes on behind the scenes making a movie that motherfuckers just don't understand.
They don't
I
understand.
fucking
They
love
don't.
what
They
you're
don't.
saying. So when you
don't.
see these reviews or people's opinions on a movie, if you pay attention to how many people are doing so many things to make anything, I don't care if it's micro or studio. It's absolutely phenomenal the amount of passion and hard work that goes into this stuff. So you speaking
From
the way
so
you're
many
speaking,
people.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like her being an AD, she's breaking down everything that goes on, even before you get to fucking set. And then when you get to set, how many people are scrambling and working their asses off to make this vision come to life that people can then just shred the pieces if they want or enjoy. You know what I'm saying? It's so cool though. If you really pay attention to filmmaking and the art of it and how much work goes into it, you have a tendency to be more forgiving on films. At least I do. So I can watch anything, and even if I don't really care for the film, I don't have anything bad to say about it because at least the motherfuckers made it. They worked their asses off to put it out there and give it a shot.
There
And
might be
I
times we
respect that.
giggle about what we saw.
Yeah, but there's nothing but respect, right?
Respect for everything.
Yeah, it's all the people out there that don't understand what goes into this stuff that just dismiss it. And
Esther, correct me if
it's
I'm wrong.
ignorance. I can't stand the ignorance.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Esther, but you are the one who either makes it. You either make it go smoothly or not, right? Is that you?
I think that's her.
I think
well,
that's you. I
I would
think
love
that
to
is
take
you.
credit for all that.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
that's
certainly
you.
I think my temperament is certainly going to direct that,
Absolutely.
which, you got to be cool as an AD. You just have to be cool. You can't lose your shit because
Wow.
you got people depending on you. So you gotta really be cool, but you gotta be firm,
So how do you do that? How do
so-
you maintain that coolness?
She's like me. She's a badass.
Shut up, Erin.
Oh, sorry.
Oh God.
Honestly, I really think for me, and I don't know how cool I am, but I mean, I wouldn't say that people dislike me as an AD. I think generally I'm well received, but
I'm going to use that line. I'm stealing that.
well received.
You're not
Yeah,
well
I'm
received,
so
Erin.
stealing
You
it. I'm
cannot
stealing
steal
it.
that.
I love it.
Stop it.
But for me, I think the confidence and the coolness is, for me, it's all just being prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it is, 90. And when I had a film teacher that would say this, and I've learned it to be absolutely true, is it's 90% preparation and it's 10% perspiration, and that's the goal, at least. So you have the ability to be cool and calm and pivot, and if you know what the fuck's going on, if you know everything, you're designing the schedule, you've talked to everybody, you better know what's going on. So if you're prepared and you've prepped everybody and everybody's on the same page, yeah, sure, something's going to happen that you can't control, but it makes it that much easier to pivot because you know your shit. It's like an actor, like, here's an analogy. An actor that shows up knowing their lines you know, they can start doing whatever. But if they don't even know their lines yet, it's like they're struggling to get the performance out. You know what I'm saying? Like
we just talked about that
once you know
last
your
night.
line. Oh, did you? Yeah.
We
Once
did.
you know your lines, you can do all kinds of shit.
Fuck
you know,
yeah.
you can go this way,
Yeah.
that way, whatever, because you know it backwards and forwards. It's the
Yeah.
same way with the schedule. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's the same way that way. You're just in a better position to do that. And with that comes a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
You know, you feel
Mhm.
prepared, you're ready to go. So it's literally like you're going to war every single day. And it doesn't have to be bad war, but you know, you're leading an army in a lot of ways.
You make it seem so unstressful. I feel like that is so
I?
She's a
freaking
fucking
stressful.
pro.
You are a pro. Because you make it seem so easy, but I'm sure it's not easy. I'm sure it's stressful as hell.
That's only
You know-
because on your guys' one of your guys' first ADs got caught by the behind the scenes cameraman who looked at him and said, "Get the fuck away from me," while he was doing something. That's the only
what?
reason.
Wait, what?
What am I missing? Where I
Oh,
wasn't there?
remember when Aaron stuck the camera in my face when I was in the middle of trying to fix something? And I was like, "Get the fuck away from me!"
Yeah, he lost his shit that
I
day.
forgot about that.
For the whole day, just for that
Just for
one
that
moment.
moment.
Yeah, we lose our shit sometimes.
But it's Aaron's favorite clip.
It's one of my favorites. The way you describe your position on these sets and what you do and all the work you're putting in, you really make a director look like a pussy. I'm going to tell you that right now. Right now, seriously.
Yeah, Aaron, you're pussy.
Yeah, seriously. It's a big deal. Because, like, as a director, I can only speak for myself on our micro-budget films.
Right.
You know, when you're in the director's chair, you just kind of do... You know, you're working with the actors, you're making sure you're getting your shots, you know, you're doing this kind of thing. And everybody else is doing everything else. And you just get to focus on this. You got this narrow kind of thing. But if you think about the amount of stuff you're fucking doing,
It's like,
It's
whoa.
like-
I mean, this is the goal. This is the goal. I mean, the director is, well, I mean, look, they're two different, we've got TV and we've got movies, right? And
Yeah,
that's a whole,
yeah.
those are two different ball
Right.
games as far as the director is concerned. Like
Absolutely.
TV is like director for hire.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
And,
totally.
and I mean, there are a lot of, but you know, like here's an example. Look at like Baz Luhrmann.
Mm-hmm.
That dude
Oh,
is
that's-
all up in all the shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
I would love to meet his first AD and talk to them about how they did all this stuff, especially during COVID in Australia with everything going on.
Right.
I mean, that movie. Did you guys see that movie?
I haven't.
I haven't seen it yet, but I do know who Baz Luhrmann is. And
Yeah. And I know that.
I mean, he's done all. You know, he did Romeo and Juliet. He did
Yeah.
Great Gatsby. He did. You know, he did all these big. He did Moulin Rouge. He did
he
all
did
these
a great
big
song
movies.
too,
yeah,
right?
it's his films are
His
fucking
great songs.
amazingly
Right.
intricate.
And I mean-
yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
like,
great
you
guy.
know, look at what's the Spanish director's name that does those movies where everybody looks weird? He did like Shape of Water. Shape of-
Guillermo del Toro.
Yes,
Del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
Guillermo, yeah.
I mean, this is all him, you know. So there are directors like that that are visionaries
Right.
that are all
Right.
up in every aspect of whatever. So I mean, it kind of depends on what you're working on, but you know, those people are like
Yeah.
one in a million. You know what I mean? But this is what I would say about that. As far as making a director look like a pussy, not at all. Like, I'm
Way
there
to keep your job.
assist the director. Yeah, I love all of you. I work with the greatest directors ever. Like sometimes in this job, you have to pick up a lot of slack for a director who's not making decisions. You know, and what a good director does is make decisions.
Yes.
In my opinion, and what I need a good director to do is make decisions, and block their actors.
Right.
Block the actors, make decisions. Like if those are two things that I need, and that's it. Like at the
What do you
know,
mean
I
by
can-
block actors?
Blocking him, framing him.
blocking? Like they show up to set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, we're doing this scene where you know we're going into Sam's bedroom with the dog and the friend and whatever, right?
Can you put Robert there again?
Yeah, we'll put Robert over there.
You want to put Robert back in the
Robert's
bedroom?
also there and cocktails.
good.
No, but
And the dog.
Hey, what I like to do in the morning is hand the set to the director and the actors. Guys, have a field day. Like, let's not make it take too long. Because hopefully, you have your shit together and you know what you want them to do.
Know what you're doing.
Because they still got to go back to makeup, you know. But
Yeah.
here's your 10 minutes for this emotional scene. Block it. But no, go work with your actors, walk them through the scene, you know, because a lot of times you don't have the benefit of rehearsal beforehand.
Right.
So put them in the space, do your thing with them. Let me have like the second team, which are the stand-ins, watch it, and the crew watch it, and then let me get them the fuck out of there so I can set up all this other stuff for you,
Mm-hmm.
so that you're going to get more time, more takes, more angles.
Right.
You know, get them, block it, get them the fuck out of there so we can set everything up. And then you're just gonna have more screen time. The longer you fuck around and you're not prepared, the less time you have, the less film you get, onto the screen. You know what I mean? The less
Absolutely.
stuff you get in the can. So my goal is to have everything together for that person as well as possible, and be like 4 steps ahead of them, so that they have everything that they need to get that job done well.
Right.
And I feel like I'm failing if I don't have all that shit together for them. Like, if something's not ready, even though I've said it 75 times to the prop person, give me the fucking necklace, and it's still not there, like, it's on me. You know what I mean? And it makes me angry. So that's why I just have to stay on everybody about, make sure I have all the shit here.
That's badass.
So what
Sure,
you're saying
you're
is
good
that
at what you do.
you have a very nice low stress job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, perfect. No stress. Well, they say ADs have like a short lifespan. I think men are like 51. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
It's low.
No
I mean,
way.
you guys
Are you
Google
serious?
that. I'm
Is that
telling
actually
you. Yeah.
like for real?
It's probably
I laughed,
Yes.
but I thought it was
Well,
a joke.
Chuck's been my AD for like 20 years, and he's
Shit,
about to die
Chuck.
any week, any day now.
I'm
He's
32
falling.
years old.
Stop.
You look great.
That's actually really funny, Chuck.
Oh, Jesus,
Um,
Chuck.
I think I just had an aneurysm.
I'm 32. What are you talking about? I'm 42.
No, I'm 47 years old and I look great and I feel great.
Oh my lord.
Did I
Honestly,
fall
though,
asleep?
So
we're kind of the assistants of Aaron, and Chuck and I have had the most health problems that anybody could imagine this year.
I don't know what the fuck's wrong. Why are you guys always fucking sick?
yeah, you guys are
We're
always
just
sick.
trying to make sure you look good.
And I'm older than all you fucks.
Yeah, you give us all the stress.
I know, it's hilarious. I think she's onto something.
I think I am.
Yeah, I think
I'm
you
totally
are.
am.
I'm glad, just like everything that you ever try and tell Sam, it always makes sense to people coming from someone else's mouth than
Yeah,
the
it's
people
true.
you talk
That's
to
true.
every day.
That's true.
Chuck, why are you so stressed out? I don't know, because I'm trying to make sure the fucking film is perfect.
I absolutely
Sam,
love.
what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?
I know, I say it all the time. Yeah,
Sam, what's wrong? I'm just trying to make you happy.
Nothing.
I'm just floating on a cloud, most of
I
the
know.
time.
He
Just-
totally is too. He's just like, woo,
know.
this is fun.
Guys, this is so gravy.
Yeah.
Once I get the camera in my hand and everybody has their shit down, it's great, man. It's so easy. Why are you guys so
Yeah.
stressed out?
Me and Chuck were like,
This is dying.
I don't know. I just got fucking Tourette's in the last fucking 10 years because I can't fucking deal with you.
What
we're
a,
dying. We're slowly dying.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's-
So
we went
everybody
off on a
out there,
tangent, but yeah.
appreciate
Yeah, appreciate
your
your
first assistant.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
appreciate your
Absolutely.
people. Appreciate
Yeah.
your people.
Appreciate everybody in your life, damn it.
You
Live
know
a life
what?
of love and fuck them all. I don't know what else to say anymore.
I was gonna say last night we were filming last night for our little short film we're doing,
This morning.
Or yeah, it was
Well,
well,
kind
by
of.
the time we got done, yeah, it was this morning. Anyway, but we had just talked about this kind of stuff, Esther, which is kind of interesting. Like when we finished, I was just looking at the actors, and I'm like, what's fucking amazing is that when you get a crew of actors together, and they know the scene, and they know their dialogue, like you were speaking of earlier, and how you get them. And you do the blocking, and you're like, okay, do a quick run through, get the feel of everything, and they start doing their shit, and you just stand there and watch them. You're like, fuck, they know this shit better than I do.
I could have
You know what I mean?
recorded the blocking.
Yeah, you really could have. And then you just
Yeah.
realize, because of their preparation and their talent and their passion to do it, that you literally, something that could take you probably a few minutes to film and be like, okay, we can lock that, that's good. You end up spending still more time because you've got that extra time now to do different angles, to play around with shit. And that's fucking great when they come prepared like that. And then it elevates you too, as a director or an AD or anything. You're just like excited to think up new things because you've got time, right?
You can play.
You
You
can
can
play.
play. You can go, no, do it like this now. You have time to do it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That is really the creative, like, that's its own little space, where you can create. Like, that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
Like, everything else is just the technical shit. So, like, let's get all the technical shit down, and then let's play,
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
why that's
Exactly.
why long episodic TV shows kind of become mundane. It's like you've seen the same thing over and over again because they're so tight framed.
They've got a routine they do.
Their timelines are so tight. It's just like, okay,
I got 7 days to get this episode done, so we got to just lock. Yeah, and it's cardboard. Yeah, you're right. Wow.
But you get on a set with CCC Entertainment Group, next thing you know.
You have no idea what's going on, especially with the right team. Man, and our team is badass right now. I'm loving it. Esther, okay, so let's talk about some of your experiences on some of of these, bigger television shows and films you've done. Let's start with Z Nation. That seemed like an intricate part, and since we're in Washington, that was a big deal up here for a long time.
Yeah.
So how'd you end up getting that gig? How'd that turn out?
Well, funny story. I've been living in LA for a long time now, and I had done this Lifetime movie with a lady named Jodie Benstock, who ended up being one of our producers on Z Nation. And she and I were friends, and I had actually just gotten back from a movie in Morocco, which was awesome. You should ask me about that one because that was killer.
Okay.
So
we'll go back to that.
But we'll come back to that one. But anyway, so I just come back in town, and I just stopped by the production office, and I ran into Jodie, and I was like, "Hey, Jode, what's going on?" And she's like, "Hey, I've got this TV show called Z Nation," which I don't think it was called Z Nation then. It was called I don't know. It had some other weird name. But anyway, I was like, "What is that?" And she's like, "It's a zombie show." And I was like, "Aren't zombies we've had Walking Dead for 5,000 years now.
Are we done with that yet?
Are we done with that yet?"
Yeah, no, zombies.
And she's like,
shit.
"No, it's called Zombies." And I'm just like, eye rolled. And she's like, I was like, "Well, where are you shooting it?" And she's like, "Spokane." And I was like, "Get out of here," because as I said, I've got family that lives in that area. And I've been there a million times since I was a little kid. And I was like, "Get out of here." Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, "How long are you shooting?" She goes, 5 months, it's 15 episodes. We'll start in a month. I'd really like you to do it. Do you want to do it? And I was like, "Yep." So then I met her producing partner, this guy named Steve Graham, who also was on our show. And it was, our showrunner was this man named Carl Schaefer, who is, if you guys don't know who he is, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant man. And he's done a lot of stuff. Really cool guy. And anyway, I hadn't met him yet, but so the next I was there, a month later doing Z Nation. And if you guys have seen that show, I mean, we did a lot of awesome stuff on that show. And that was a great show because, I mean, we had stunts every day. I mean, tons of stunts. We had crazy special effects makeup, crazy special effects gags, visual effects. We had anything under the sun we were doing on that show on a daily basis, like all the boxes, and it was just a lot of fun. It was the crew in Spokane was awesome. The extras, we did the zombie auditions. I still remember that for hours, and you heard about the Walking Dead zombie auditions, ours were awesome.
I bet.
We had 400 people, and one person would have a gong on one side, one person would have a rattle, and they'd go slow and fast. And it was a hoot. And they were, we had professional extras. I mean, we had recurring peeps that would come back and they just make them a different zombie. And
Nice.
It was, we were a tight knit group and became, I think, a pretty well-oiled machine, by the end of it. And it was sad that it was over, but it had been 5 years,
Yeah.
So we had a good run, but we shot all over Washington. And yeah, it was just, the cast was really cool. It was a really fun show. I missed it.
We had Russell. We had Russell on our show.
Yeah, Russell
I
Hutchinson.
love Russ.
He is the coolest motherfucker,
We
dude.
loved him too.
He's so
He's
cool.
badass.
Fuck.
He's the coolest.
Yeah.
He's such a trade. He's really like that. He is Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He is just cool.
Well, we saw him first on that
Maysville.
Maysville. Yeah,
Maysville,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank
we
you.
saw
Leslie
Maysville.
Goyette, and I'm so
And
sorry,
I would love to have-
I'm
yeah,
drawing a blank, but
yeah.
her movie.
We loved him in that. Yeah.
Loved him in
Yeah, and
that.
I was like, oh shit. And then when we found out later he was in Z Nation, I'm like, fuck, okay, we got to start watching Z Nation. And then he played Doc, and I figured the cult following he has and everything else. And then we got to meet him and talk to him, and we're like, dude, this is the coolest motherfucker.
He's so badass.
He is the smoothest dude. I just
He's so
love. He's so
chill.
fucking laid back and just fucking loves everybody. He's just a great
Yeah.
guy, dude.
Super
He
cool
is.
guy.
That's fun, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a great
it was
story.
So
really
you got
fun.
to work with him. That was fun alone.
Yeah.
As just in itself.
Yeah.
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 And well,
Yeah,
and don't forget about Coach Rick, bro. He
Oh,
was
and
in-
Coach Rick.
Yeah, he was in
Yes,
Z Nation.
yes,
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
for a minute.
He's awesome too.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Esther?
No, nothing. No, I mean, yeah, all of the cast were characters,
Yeah.
and because it was such a wacky show, I don't know how much of y'all have seen, but they're always in these
we
super
watched
weird places with all these
Yeah.
weirdos. We had the guest stars we would have would look and act so kooky, and it was just so much fun.
Nice.
I'm like, where did you even find these people?
That's
And a
awesome.
lot of them are just local.
That's so
Like,
cool.
local, but no, they were fantastic actors, and I don't even know how experienced they were. Fantastic. I mean, we had I wish I could remember this guy's name. It'll come to me. Anyway, he just walked up, and I was like, this, I'm watching like De Niro right now. This guy, he was just unbelievable.
Wow.
And I'm like, we're pulling this kind of talent for this show. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Five seasons of a show is a good run. I mean, that's like that's solid. I mean, Breaking Bad went 5 seasons. You know, it's like and Ozark as well. If you think the shows that really impact people, Dexter went a little too long, right? Walking Dead went a little too long, but if you stay in that little bubble, that little safe zone, I think you're good. And that I think Z Nation
5's a sweet spot.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, you went out well. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Man.
You wrapped it up right at the right time.
Man.
Where it was perfect. Yeah.
And let me tell you, the budgets kept getting smaller and the shooting
I
days
bet.
kept getting shorter. I mean, we were doing 5-day episodes by the end of it. 5-day episodes, and the scripts were 65 pages, or more sometimes.
Wow.
So
just
why-
do the math? Just do the math on that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
It's
fucking
like 13 pages a day. I mean, it's
So
crazy.
you literally had to get better as you went, like at getting that tight.
Yeah.
You guys were hitting 13 pages a day.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, I had 16 pages one day. I mean, we were
Wow.
hitting a lot, and this isn't people standing around in a room doing dialogue. We're doing action stunts.
Yeah.
Which is fucking
I got
crazy.
50 hero zombies to get their makeup that takes 3 hours each. Our lead actors took 3 hours in hair and makeup. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my god.
we had a big ensemble cast basically.
Mhm.
I mean, there were like 7 of those people hanging out in any given scene. So you got to cover all of them. You got to make Murphy blue, which takes hours.
Right.
And now Murphy's got his bites on it, which takes like 8 hours to put all these bites all over his body. I mean, there was a lot of shit to schedule around on that show.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
It
you got to
was
do all the
a lot of
zombies.
makeup.
Yeah.
Just-
It's
oh,
just
hell yeah.
it's the makeup, I mean,
Mhm.
we had a fantastic makeup and hair crew and special effects team. But I mean, those people, I don't know when they slept. I mean, they were.
Yeah.
I'm always in early, but they were in, 5 hours ahead of the crew
gosh.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Wow.
What it takes to make those shows go is
The
a lot.
dedication
It's a lot.
is crazy.
People don't get it.
Yeah.
Just sleep in your makeup. We'll touch it up in the morning. Just,
Yeah.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
asked that.
Yeah. Be like the black girl that's laying on her bed. She doesn't fuck her hair up, and she sleeps
Right, you
like
just-
on her. Yeah, like
Yes.
in Friday. Yeah. Don't touch your shit. Just leave your shit. Man.
Oh my god.
That's so crazy. The amount of dude, we are such
Yeah.
pansies on our level.
We're not pansies.
Yes, we are. We are. Because we literally are sitting there and tonight we're like, ooh, we got a lot to film. We got like 6 or 7
Didn't we just
pages
talk about
tonight.
how we
and most of
feel-
it's dialogue.
It's okay.
Oh, go ahead, Sam.
No, it's okay. I'm just talking to Chuck.
We just doing that thing.
Of course
that we
you
do
would
when
feel like we're
talk.
pansies. Of course you would.
No, I'm not. Not,
Chuck,
not
we're
you
not
guys.
pansies, are we?
Not you. Well, yeah, come on, guys. You know what I'm saying. I mean, but the amount of pages that they're putting out, that's a
No,
lot.
it's crazy. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's insane. And all the makeup and stuff. That is
Yes.
crazy.
I mean, it's not just those. It's
Yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
everything.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
fucking insane. That's
Yeah,
big time.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
Man.
It's nutty.
So I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Esther, you're a queen. For
Aw,
everything
you're
that
so
you
sweet. Thank
yeah,
you.
literally. Like that's
Well,
a hard
I love
job.
it. I mean, I just really enjoy it. I don't know what else I would do if I didn't do this, truthfully.
That's
but
good,
no, I just really love the job. It's so much fun to me, and you're just meeting all kinds of people all the time. We're like carnies, basically. Which is good and bad, I guess. But
Keep traveling around.
Mhm.
you just keep we're like gypsies. We just travel and shoot, and kind of stay in our own little bubble. You know what I mean? I don't know
But
if
you
that's
do
good,
meet,
but
you,
that's what we
you
do.
probably meet
Great.
a lot of good people along the way, I'm sure.
Definitely, yeah, and and I had someone in film school tell me it's not about what it's about who you know. And
Right.
sadly, that is very
It
true.
is very
So,
true.
sadly, it's very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just learned to always say yes to shows early on, which was good and bad. There's a few I should have said no to. But it's some of the most horrible ones for every reason. But I ended up meeting somebody on one of those shows that ended up getting me a job on some other show that was awesome. So you
There you
just
go.
never know.
Yeah.
Who you're gonna meet. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I don't know how
And
I
you
got into
probably
that, but
learn you probably learn the most from the ones that weren't as good. Just because
You do.
that's where you
You do.
really
Yeah.
learn. Yeah.
It's a good
Mhm.
point.
And you learn
Sam.
from
you got to
mistakes.
make all those mistakes.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
great point.
absolutely.
Great.
And you never stop learning either. You're
No.
never going to know everything,
Never.
But
Yeah.
you
Never.
take everything that you learn with you to the next one, You
Mhm.
take all of it with you, and then by the end of your career, like you're pretty
You're
good
pretty
fucking
good.
AD,
You're pretty
you know what I
damn
mean?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
With everything that you go through and all the people that you meet and all this time that you spend with these people, I mean, you're in intimate scenarios with people for very intense, short period, long hour days.
Mhm.
Do you have a
Mhm.
sense of loss when the things
When
are
it's over.
and
Oh,
maybe the people you
yeah.
thought you were the closest to on set, all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to be rude, but they fucking ghost you. It's like, it's like you no longer exist because they don't see you every day.
Yep.
Do you have a sense of loss from that, or?
1000%. Yeah, you do. And you also get PTSD, but that's like a whole nother story.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you absolutely do get the loss, and you start feeling it. There's like a mixture of senioritis when the show's coming to a close because everybody does want to just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but on the other level, they really you're spending 15 hours a day with these people sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the minimum, it's 12 and a half or 13 at the minimum. At the minimum. I mean, that's you see them more than you see anybody in your whole life.
Yeah.
For months and months and months at a time, depending on what you're doing. And I don't know how anybody in this industry can't have their life be pretty much consumed by it,
Yeah.
So yeah, you build these really strong bonds with people, and it is weird, and you do feel you miss people, you miss people, and even though you want the show to end, you're like, oh, but I don't want to leave this crew. The crew makes it for you, because at a certain point the show, like if you're doing a TV show, I've done a few, like you were saying earlier, it's just run of the mill, it's like the same shit every day, but it's really the people that are there that are making it for you. It's like the little jokes in between, or the whatever, the little laughs that people have on set to kind of keep everybody motivated and going. Like, it's really important that, it's not, I'm all about work, but it's the humanity of it too with everybody, that really makes it cool.
So I connect this with, I'm a bartender, and I connect this the same way. You get people that come in and you see them every day for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And it is sad. It's like a loss.
Fucking
it's
A.
like very sad, because they get you through your days, all these days that are mundane or they're crazy or whatever, and they get you through these days, and you don't forget them.
Yeah.
And so it's sad when they go. It's sad when you don't see them anymore for whatever reason. I mean, whether they move or whether they're dead or whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, you feel that loss anyway.
What happened to
Yeah, I
Brian?
agree.
He's in rehab. Oh,
Stop it.
Damn it.
Stop it. Okay,
All right,
that
well,
happens sometimes
It was
too.
nice knowing him.
It's not the...
Maybe he'll come by and see me. Yeah, that's what you want. You want the alcoholic to come in and say
Leave
hi.
it to you to make a joke out of it.
Well, sorry.
No, it's true though. It is true. Either on a set or in a bar, it doesn't matter. The loss is the loss. When you are used to seeing someone for a certain period of time, and they get you through your days, and you learn to depend on them, actually, or rely on them, and then it's sad when they're not there.
Yeah, you build those relationships.
You do build relationships, and if you don't get to keep them, that's sad.
Yeah.
Do you ever? It's like a relationship. Do you ever call your new second AD by the last second AD's name that you had, and you're like, oh
Wait,
shit, I'm
what?
so sorry. Like you call your new
Yes.
girlfriend their old girl's name. So it's like,
I've done that for a couple
Sarah,
people.
I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What? You're Tiffany? Tiffany's your name. I can't say Tiffany. How about Sarah 2? Can you be Sarah Point 2? Okay, let's do that.
That happens all the time, not for me necessarily, but people do it, and
sure.
people get real butthurt about that.
I bet they do.
Yeah,
I bet.
real upset. Yeah,
I bet.
because I do the 2.0. They totally do the 2.0. It's so funny.
That's hilarious. Wow.
Okay, Leo, stop licking my calf, dude. You're
I'm sorry, Leo.
Yeah, that's dumb. Okay, so earlier,
Sorry.
earlier,
Lick a
you
little
mentioned-
higher. Something.
Oh my
Lick a little
God,
higher.
no. Come here, Leo. Let's get out of there.
Does
Let's
he?
get out of that
The
territory.
way your balls hang, does he really have to lick any higher?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I quit.
Sorry,
I
Esther.
literally quit.
She's gonna
No,
go
it's
dive
okay.
in the pool. She's like, I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
have to
you-
go cool.
Bye.
If you want to catch up about Chuck's balls, go back and listen to episode
there we go, yeah,
100.
right.
There we go, yeah. I'm diving in
4,
right
3,
now.
4.
Yeah, we talk about your balls all the time. Okay, so
Or
earlier,
your shit, whatever works.
Esther, you said something about a Morocco.
Yes.
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what is
You
that?
guys
wanna hear
You sounded
about it.
excited
She
about
dropped
that.
her
What's
eyes.
that?
It's like she's in
So,
love with Morocco movie.
Let's go.
What was the movie?
I
wanna know.
love Morocco and all things Morocco. Like, the food in Morocco is so good, y'all.
Ooh.
It's amazing. But anyway, so this is kind of it's a little bit funny. So my friend Dylan, who's a line producer, he's also a really great actor. He was producing a movie, and he wanted to go overseas, and we didn't have a lot of money, but he had control over basically what we were going to do. For the most part. And so he called me, he's like, hey, I don't know where we're going, but let's do, here's the script. Like, we're going to go somewhere. And I was like, okay, great. Cool. I'll start breaking it down. Just tell me what we're doing. And so Dylan's a smart guy, but for some reason, this is like 2012. He's like, he started looking into going to Syria to shoot this movie.
Oh,
And
shit.
it's like,
Oh my.
I'm pretty sure you can't shoot this movie in Syria.
Probably
Dylan.
not
Like,
at that time.
we're gonna
No.
get murdered.
Yeah. Do we have Sally Field with us today or something?
Yeah, right. This is Hercules movie. And I think our executive producer was like, "You're not going to Syria." But just looking, like I was just like, "What's that? What are you talking about?" So we ended up picking Morocco, and I was like, "I don't even know where Morocco is. Where is it?" And so whatever, Googled it. And so we took this trip to Morocco, and we had like this liaison group that we were meeting with, this studio, but the preparations were a little sketch. Like Dylan didn't really have all of our shit together. We were gonna go there like 6 weeks ahead of doing the movie, and we didn't know anything about Morocco. We'd never been to Africa before, like whatever. And so we fly into Casablanca first, and then we have to take this jumper plane to this place called Ouarzazate. And Ouarzazate is like in the middle of the desert. There's nothing around except for this movie town, and there's like one flight in there a week. Like that's it. And it's literally in the middle of the desert.
I've never even heard of it.
Wow.
Ouarzazate, it's spelled super weird too. It's like Ouarzazate.
Wow.
It sounds like
Like
she's
a
saying,
super
"Where is
word.
it at?"
I know, yeah.
Yeah, Ouarzazate. Yeah.
Where's it at?
So anyway, we fly into Casablanca, and like I don't know how it's gonna be. I'm flying in Morocco. Like, am I gonna be able? I'm a female AD. I've got long blonde hair at the time. I'm looking like a Barbie doll. It's like it's kind of ridiculous. But I don't know if I'm gonna wear legitimately, and this is gonna sound ignorant, but I was like, am I gonna have to cover up to like burka myself out to AD? Like, I don't know what's gonna what about and I know everybody has to pray 5 times a day. Like, how is that? I was like, that's gonna fuck up my schedule. Like, I'm literally thinking about all these things, right? I'm like, I can't take a break. How long does it take him to say those prayers? Like, I don't know the answer to these questions, right? And so that's kind of funny, but honestly, like, I was really
you have to think about
that.
that.
And so we fly into Casablanca and we get to the airport. Sorry, this is a long prelude to the movie, but it kind of sets up the experience.
Sure.
And so, we're just going down this escalator, and it's like, I don't even know. I feel like I've been transported to another world. Like it is, everybody's covered up. Like Dylan looks ridiculous, like I do. Like Dylan's like an ex-gay porn star. Okay, like you can imagine. And then it's me. And
John.
so we're coming down this escalator, and everybody's going past us, and it's like the whole place is like stopped and looked at us, and I'm like, fuck.
Oh no.
Yeah, and we don't know. We're meeting these people to get on the plane to go to Ouarzazate, but we don't know what they look like. Our cell phones don't work. Like, we do not have any of our shit together. This sounds horrible. Like, never do this. And so we meet these people. Somehow we like hook up with them. They're very nice, these two men, and we fly. And it's nighttime. We fly into Ouarzazate, which I don't know, an hour flight or whatever it is from Casablanca, on this plane that is like, it's really scary.
Oh,
So we get to Ouarzazate, and we're going through customs. And Amin is one of our guys. His name's Amin. Awesome. We don't know him though. And he's like, "Give me your passports." And we're like, "No, we're just going to give them to the agent when we get to the line." And he's like, "No, give me your passports." And we're like, we think we're going to be sold into white slavery. Like, we haven't, because our bags go somewhere else and he goes somewhere else. And like, it's just this rinky dink airport. Like, it was super weird. And they put all of our luggage in one van. They put us in the other. And we're driving through the night in the desert.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, where the fuck are we going? Like,
This is
Dylan and I
scary
think we're going to
shit.
die.
It's
Yeah.
like terrifying.
Fuck this.
We're freaking out. And then all of a sudden, there's this gorgeous town that looks like Santa Fe, basically, like all the adobe buildings.
Oh, shit,
And it's just a movie town. Then there's like, it's got like a cinema thing when you drive into town. It's totally clean. It's like this oasis in the desert. It's like, it's amazing. We go to this hotel that has this beautiful pool and all the little villas around it. And the studio is literally like at the hotel. Like, it's the backlot. You walk out of the hotel and the studio, the whole backlot's right there. Like, it was just killer. Like De Laurentiis, all those people have all these big studios there. Like, it's a movie town.
Right.
So like, everybody in the town's a professional extra. They did Kingdom of Heaven. I don't know if anybody ever saw that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, that's badass.
Okay, so they have the Kingdom of Heaven set there, which we shot at. It was called Atlas Studios. And so they had the most killer sets, the best costumes, the best food, the most awesome crew, the best stunt people. Like, it was the best life experience I've ever had shooting there. Everybody was cool. Like, they thought we were hilarious because we're so ridiculous, but everybody was so chill and so cool. Didn't even realize when they were praying. They just rotated out. I didn't even have to know about it. It was not disruptive, is what I'm saying. I'm kind of trying to be funny, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no issue with me being a chick. Like everything, it was awesome. We did horses, and we had this hot guy that played Hercules. He was like, doing backflips, like an ex-WWE guys, like doing backflips with a sword. It was ridiculous. But we shot, it just, the backdrop of that movie, it was just unbelievable. We had like no money, and it just looks killer.
I bet.
Anyway,
I bet.
it was just
fun.
the most awesome experience. But that was a total immersion in the culture and the food. Like that's one of the cool things about being in this industry is. I've gotten to shoot all over the world, even on like low budget shit. Like I've shot all over the world. I've shot all over Europe. I've been to Japan. I've been to Singapore. Like I've been to Australia. Like I've been to Canada. Like I've been everywhere to shoot. I've been to Thailand. Like it's just, and all the crews you get to meet and how they do things differently. Like all the, the crews work differently in a lot of those places than we do in the States. So It's a little bit of you kind of figure it out, but I still keep in touch with all these people, You just build, just back to building relationships and just having these real lifetime experiences, and you miss those people. I mean, this Thai crew that we had one time, we'd be in the middle of the jungle, and all of a sudden these big 20Ks are just going up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like tiny people. I'm like, how are they getting these fucking 20Ks up? And when did they run the lines to get all the cable to get these 20Ks up?
They don't fuck around.
I'm literally walking through a jungle and this shit's going up, and I'm like, what is happening? I mean, it's just, it's a big crew, but they're mighty. I mean, they're just a lot and mighty. I don't know, it's crazy, mighty. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But I talk to these people. I keep up with them, on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they're always like, come back and shoot. We had such a great time.
That's amazing. So on the way out there, she's freaking the fuck out for her life.
I know.
And it's just heaven.
Literally, we thought white slavery. We're like,
that's the
this
best.
is what you don't. This is, it's like one of those movies where they're like, give us your passports, and you're watching TV going, no, you dumb bitch, don't give them your passport.
Exactly.
Like that's so. And Dylan and I, this is how this happened. We were like,
this is how you get sold.
We're done. Okay, we're done.
If you want to film here, give me your passport. We're gonna get through this quickly.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's amazing. What's the name of that movie, by the way?
It's called Hercules.
Okay.
If you, there've been a bunch of Hercules movies done, but it's the one on my IMDb if you want to go there.
Okay. I would love it.
I don't know the qualifier for it. It's like Hercules something. I don't know.
That's fucking cool. Right.
Reborn or something. Yeah. But anyway, best experience ever. If you want to go to Morocco and shoot, you should.
All right, Aaron.
Awesome.
We're gonna expand your horizons. Instead of just filming in Gig Harbor and Tacoma, we're gonna go
to Morocco, bro.
To Everett.
Everett?
I'm shooting Everett. Go to Everett.
We gotta build you up before we take you out of state.
Okay,
we gotta shoot out of state before we take you out of country.
Yeah, just warm me up. A little foreplay. That's what I need. I just need a little, just a little bit.
Light stroking.
Yeah, get me going. You gotta get me in the mood. Okay, so a couple things. So we watched a movie because we had Peter Drago on our show. Yeah, the stairs.
I worked on that one. Yeah, Drago.
Yes,
yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
He a great guy. Absolutely love
really
him to death. Yeah, and that was a fun fucking movie too. I really was impressed with that film.
Not my best interview, but a really good movie.
Oh yeah, that was interview. Yeah,
it was an interview. I got up and pissed off.
He had a moment. Yeah, he had a moment in that show.
Everybody has a moment.
But anyway, how did that turn about? Because Peter's great, and that's a good, solid, well-made indie film. I believe. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Oh, fuck yeah. We all did. We loved that fucking movie.
Yeah.
It was a great surprise, and it was a pleasure talking and getting to know Peter a little bit. But what was your experience like on that one?
So that one was kind of interesting because you know how I said I never second AD?
Yes.
So this is one of the 2 times in my whole life that I ever did partially. So it's just a thankless job, but it's literally like those people make it or break it. I mean, they don't get enough credit, but I would never want to do that in my life. I don't know why anybody would ever do that job. Anyway.
By the way, we are currently looking for more second ADs.
Yeah. Sorry, it's the truth though. It's the truth. It's a lot of work. But anyway, so I did, Peter had called me like a year or 2 before that, and he was like, "Hey, I've got a movie." I don't know if it was that one or a different one.
Okay.
And I don't know. We had a schedule conflict, but anyway, I think he called me. There's a guy named Tony Becerra who's another first AD that lives in Seattle. He was my second AD on Z Nation the first season, and then he and I have worked together subsequently. We worked together well as a team, and they hired. I think I had a scheduling conflict or something, but they hired Tony as the first AD for the stairs. But then Tony called me and he's like, "Look, I got a conflict for we're shooting for 4 weeks. 2 of the weeks in the middle or at the end or something, like I can't do it. So can you come on as my second AD?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can first AD the parts that I'm not there, and we'll have somebody else be your second. And I was like, Tony, do you understand what you're asking? You're asking me to second AD for you? That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'd rather go to Morocco.
And
on
you
a
know
plane.
this. I'd rather go to Morocco. But yeah, for some reason, Tony like called me to do that. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it for you and Drago, because I love Drago.
Drago,
but, I
we
mean,
love him too.
Like, hashtag no promises, because I hate this second AD job. And so anyway, so we rotated, and so I had very little to do with any of the pre-production. I literally just kind of I was like AD for hire, which is not something that I like to do, because I like to know all the shit as we discussed. But I was like, I'll figure it out with Tony's schedule, which is not great. Anyway, so sorry, Tony, don't hate. Anyway, but it was super fun. And if you talk to Drago, he is a stunt guy, and he's also a special effects dude. And his specialty is like fire burns, I think, if I can call it a specialty. So he actually set himself on fire on that show. If you watched it at the end, that's Drago running through the woods.
That literally
fully lit a flame.
Oh gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so he's
cool.
a director, and he lit himself on fire. And I was like, I don't like dealing with fire very much. I was kind of like freaking out a little bit. Not one of my cool moments, but he's a total pro, and his team were pros, and they handled it, and everybody was safe, and it was cool.
He is a pro.
We burnt down a bunch of stuff. We actually burnt down the actual
the staircase.
Spoiler alert, we burnt down the stairs.
Burnt down some shit we weren't supposed to, but we got it on film.
Burnt down some shit we weren't supposed to. But yeah, it was a fun movie. We had some weather challenges. We had some, the cast was not my fave on that movie. Don't hate, but that's an absolute fact. But it was challenging because we were shooting in weather, like it's raining a lot in Seattle, which is not ideal. Not ideal.
No,
we had to shoot literally. Talk about shooting pages. We had to shoot 17 pages inside a box truck one day.
That I know the scene.
And it was pouring down rain. You know that scene?
Yes.
That took us. We shot that all in one day, but the rain was pouring down it was like the hardest rainfall I've ever seen that whole time. And the sound guy, they had to take all that. They had to take all that out. I don't know how they did it,
but a lot of work.
Brutal, just brutal. But but we got to shoot in some cool places. We went to Carnation, Washington to shoot, and I don't know if you saw when the monster is there, all that cool forest that looks different than a regular forest.
Yeah,
that was in Carnation at this weird property that we were at. Speaking of weird characters you meet on the show,
Drago's buddy, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
if I remember right from the show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice guy, but it's what's going on?
Where are we?
Why do you guys keep bringing the blonde white girl to weird places?
Cool. It was. That is a cool property though. That he had access to that movie.
It was dope.
Yeah, and they didn't have a lot of money to make that movie. So the way that it turned out, truly, I was very impressed with the final product.
So are we.
Very impressed.
Exactly. That's what's so special about that film. You know the struggle it is when you don't have enough to do all the things you want to do, and yet you turn around a film that's as good as that is, and production-wise, it's very well made. I love that movie. I was
really
super
well
impressed
made,
with it. That's fucking great. I love that you work with big budget stuff, and you still work with indie stuff, little
Thank you.
guys.
Well, that's my roots. I'm all about a passion project. I'm all about my friend, supporting my friends doing movies. If I can do a schedule or organize anything for them, I'll always offer. I just, I love doing this, and I want to do cool shit.
Yes, I do.
I want to do cool shit. So
that's badass.
Yeah.
How come your smile got bigger when she said, "I want to do cool shit"?
Oh my! Because
Aaron always thinks this stuff's gonna be.
Because we do. I know
that's
we
cool.
do
That cool shit.
I like cool shit.
Ooh, I got cool shit.
Yeah, we got cool shit.
Who doesn't like to do cool shit?
You know what I mean? We always talk about
something though. And it's a family. When you get on set with people, it is a family.
It absolutely is, and I
that
want
goes
everybody.
back to the missing people, but it's a family.
Yep, and I want everybody to look badass. That's it, just on camera. I want them to look cool as fuck. I want everybody to sing. I don't give a shit if they're lead or just a minor part. I don't care. I want them to have a moment. I want everyone to have their moment on screen. That's what's so fun about it. And I think that's why I always want to be in our movies, because I want those moments too. I do.
He always wants to look like a cool guy.
I gotta have it. I want it. But it's so fun. It's so fun making.
You make me
stuff.
look cool, and honestly, if you can make me look cool, you can make anybody.
Shut up. Yeah, you're cool anyway. But yeah, I made you look badass in fucking Outrider. You look badass in that.
Well, it was funny, talking last night with Kendra for a little bit about the prep stuff, because she was sitting here inside while we were finishing setting up a few things, getting the police car ready, and getting all the the cameras and all the lights set up in it.
Yep.
And I come in and I was like, I was like, are you good? And she was like, yeah. She says, I'm just going through my stuff. And, she says, I said, you have a lot of notes all over the script here. Did you not like what I wrote? And she was like, no, it's fine. She says, this is my way of prepping. She says, you want to see some weird ways of prepping? So we chatted for a few minutes about all these different things these actors do. And I'm like, that's why I think I have to stay behind the camera, because I can't do the prep that they do to give the performance that they do on screen.
I get you.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the middle of getting ready to finish filming our other movie, but still.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's so much stuff for everybody to do. I think I can be focused just behind the camera. Hey, Chuck, you got to be in the movie though. Fine, give me a one-line small piece part, and I'll do that, and then that way I can focus on the rest of the stuff.
Sure, I get it.
It's amazing how many people you depend on to be in their space and to have their shit ready.
Yeah.
And to be on top of it. It's amazing how many people you depend on for that.
Yeah, and everybody has their best thing. You know what I mean? I mean, we all we're all jack.
My best thing
all
is laying in
trades,
bed.
kind of. Shut up.
Her best thing is keeping the dog quiet while we're filming in the house.
That is my best thing. Or making food for everyone.
It's pretty
I can do
important.
that.
But we all have our things that we're all good at. All of us have learned pretty much every position we could possibly do to make the movies ourselves, because we didn't have money to make the movie. So we had to learn this stuff, right? But then you start to realize, after you start working with more people and more crews and more actors, how well established they are in what they do, their craft.
Well, and that's what intimidates you, and you're like, I don't want to act anymore because these guys are good.
Yeah,
I
but
can't.
It depends on who you are, though. Like, they inspire me to want to act more now. You know what I mean? Because I see how they're doing, and I see the way they're working and how they prepare for it. And I'm like, okay, if they can do that, and I'm like, fuck, I want to act. I want to try to I want to match what they're doing.
Not me. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah, see, I think everybody's different in that way. But what it does do is it relaxes you, because like handing off stuff for other people and their skill set to help you do what you're doing is wonderful. Like Esther, normally I'm filming all our stuff, right? And normally I direct too, but these guys have been directing their own stuff now. But normally I'm the cinematographer one way or another. The last projects we've been working on, we've had 2 other cinematographers who are great. 3 guys that are doing all the filming. And I felt like I'm just standing there holding my dick, like I don't know what to do with myself.
So I was times he said, I don't got nothing to do.
But then I started to try to do that AD thing for Chuck, like you're talking about, and I'm nowhere good at it. Like Chuck is amazing at it, but he's been doing it for a long time, because we switch roles.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, and he's still setting up lights and shit, making sure stuff's going around, because we don't have the light guy there, and I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at the light, and you know how long it made me? I had to get the light to get to the orange hue we wanted in the window. I hit every fucking button, like, why won't this where's the orange fucking hue? It took me like 10 minutes to get it, and I just realized, fuck, I suck at ADing sometimes. I can't do the things that Chuck used to do for me all the time. But then I still feel like I can help, because I'm talking to you about the way that the shots are going, and when we get to the edit room, what we need, the coverage we want, those kind of things, what helps him go, oh yeah, I forgot about that, thank you, and then we do it. So I'm learning a different spot now, these guys are learning new spots, and I mean that's what it's kind of
it's about the collaboration of everyone. And the magic that everyone brings to the table to bring the project
to bring
together.
It to life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate this. I appreciate you saying that, Aaron, because here's the funny thing that happened when we were finishing filming chapter 1, and we were going into chapter 2, where Aaron's like, you know what, I'm just gonna act. I'm gonna back off, and I'm just gonna focus on the acting, because he was one of the stars of chapter 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. I was like, well, here's my question though. When we get to chapter 3, and now here I am, the writer director on it, I said, who's gonna be me on set?
Right.
And Aaron's like, oh man, I got you.
Yeah.
So hearing him say that, I'd be like, I can't do Chuck.
No,
Chuck
I can't.
Is insane.
Yeah, I can't do everything you do. No, not all the little stuff that you do that, like she was saying, the things that we don't really pay attention to that need to happen,
right,
in order to make those scenes and those films work. I mean, they're just kind of washed over. No one knows.
Wait,
even down to that PA.
AD?
He's gonna pay attention to what I do next.
Oh, I see what you do all the time, Samantha. And I think we both do. We thank her all the time for everything she does. And you're a big time director now. You got a movie that's got 9.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Right?
Congratulations, by the way. That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean?
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Giant Pacific Octopus now on Tubi TV.
Bigger than we are.
Documentarian.
Whatever. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
My movie's at a 4.2.
Ooh, I'm at like a 9.8.
Hey,
I know, you're
it's
super
still
bad.
higher than Extraction. You're doing fine.
I know, which is stupid. That's dumb. Okay,
God.
before we end the
It doesn't
show,
always mean everything. Okay.
before we end the show with you, Esther, I gotta ask you.
Uh-oh.
This is the topper.
This is the gotta ask
This is the question of all questions.
Yeah, because this is a fun one, and I know everybody wants to hear it. What was the pitch to you about Sharknado? How did you get on that? I want
I
to
wanna
know
hear that
because
too.
Sharknado,
Yeah.
it's such a an anomaly,
Yeah.
and
Different, yeah.
how big that series has turned into what it is. And yet it's so cheesy, and everybody knows it, and we all laugh at it, but everybody watches it one time or another in
I
their life.
know.
They're gonna fucking watch it, right?
Because you have to. You
How
can't
did
help
they?
it.
How did you go? Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, can I ask you a question before I answer that?
Oh,
Yeah,
please, yes.
please.
Do you guys think that movie was done intentionally that way, or that it was just the way that it turned out?
I think it was intentional.
I think
You
it was.
do?
I think it was a happy accident.
I think it's how it turned out. Yeah.
So we're all different.
Okay, so you think that it was intentionally done ridiculously,
Aaron does, yeah.
and you guys believe that we just
It
didn't
just
have a kid
happened that
together,
way,
right?
yeah.
It was a happy
Yep.
accident that it came out.
I
to be.
believe-
Or then right.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's the answer?
So they're right.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was a
not
happy
supposed to be
accident.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, before I answer the thing, can I just tell you this? Just to go to the very end of it.
Disclaimers.
So Twitter, the reason this movie got so much attention is because on Twitter, I think Mia Farrow was like, "Oh, I'm watching Sharknado" or something, whatever. But it was like it started trending, like it was some ridiculous blowing up thing. And
Yeah.
this was like 2013,
Uh-huh.
and I remember I'm sitting outside, and the line producer calls me, and he's like, "Dude, are you watching this?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Sharknado's blowing up," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." And he's
You're like,
"No, I'm
what?
serious."
No.
He goes, "No, Esther, I'm serious." Like, it's like starts telling me all the things, and I was like, "Get out of here!" And we just laughed on the phone for 20 minutes because that movie was hell to make. It was living hell to make that movie. I mean, it was the worst movie making experience I think I've ever had.
Are you
And it
serious?
became such a giant success, and we could not believe it. We just died
That's
laughing.
hilarious.
It's always that
Yeah.
works that way, doesn't it?
It was,
love it.
yeah.
The
I mean, trust
anomaly
me,
of everything.
like, the Asylum or the producers of that show, and I don't know if you know anything about the Asylum. They also did Z Nation and a bunch of other bad movies that you've probably seen. But I do love
Nation
no, but
was
I have a little bit of love for those guys because I did a lot of movies for them. So thank you for that, guys. But to be fair, these aren't like Oscar nominated movies. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Darn it. Oh yeah. So the Asylum, basically, just like the little preface says, they do kind of low budget movies, right? Like
Sure.
pretty low.
Sure.
So after we made Sharknado, we came in as a crew, and the people in there were like, "Oh, it's the Sharknado crew." Like, we were the losers of the Asylum.
You guys come in like
Which is
walking in
like-
like Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, which is like hilarious if you know
That's the
like the
best.
Asylum. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
how can you be lower than that? So yeah, so like it was the worst one. I mean, I think it was an 18-day original shooting schedule.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when I break down the script, right? You know what I do. I'm reading stuff like Finn surfs through the crowds on a shark, and like this crazy shit. And
Like, what
I'm
the
like,
fuck
how
am I
the
doing?
fuck are we gonna film that? Like, literally, my whole question breaking down the script was how because I make notes in every scene in the comment section.
Yeah.
All my comment section said, "How the fuck do we do this? A, B, C, and D." And the funniest part is that the director had no idea.
He had no clue either. I love it.
No clue. Zero
That's
clue.
so,
But
that's so
I
great.
did that movie because the director is a friend of mine. His name's Anthony C. Ferrante. The C is very important. I got corrected on that on day one. I need a C. I need a C on the call sheet. My name. No, but Anthony's a great guy, and if you ever wanted to have him on, I'm sure you would do it. He is. He's a great guest.
I'd
I
love
mean,
to talk to him.
I would love to talk to him.
lights up. I mean, he is like he started doing all these like big interviews for Sharknado, and I was like, "That's Anthony." Like he's just come to life. Like, it's like two different people. It's unbelievable. But anyway, he and I had done this movie called Hansel and Gretel before Sharknado, and he got this script called Sharknado, and they weren't going to call it Sharknado. Like they sold the movie on that name ahead of time. They pre-sold the movie based on just the name. But I remember the cast day one was like Tara Reid, Ian Ziering, Sharknado, they need to change the fucking name. This is fucking dude, they were pains in the ass.
hated the
I
name?
ended up loving Tara. I wanted to murder her most of the time. To be fair. But to be fair, they were like, Ian hadn't had a hit since Beverly Hills 90210, and
hey, no harm,
and
no
then
foul.
he comes out of hiding or whatever to do a movie called Sharknado. Like, they were just embarrassed. The whole cast was embarrassed. They didn't want to be there.
Man.
And poor Anthony had to get them through. And the script was ridiculous. And it was probably 200 pages too long. Every 5 seconds there was a giant stunt and effect.
Everybody knows Sharknado. Everybody knows that movie. I mean, everybody knows that. Everyone.
But I think we did 6 of them, and we traveled all around the world doing them. We shot all over. It's crazy. It's crazy how that kept going.
Did it get better for the cast and the crew after it got successful?
Yeah.
Were they like, let's just have fun with it, after that?
I don't think any of the original crew is back, except for me.
Okay.
Weirdly.
Sucker.
But the cast certainly they wanted to get paid more, so I'm sure they upped their their rate.
Shit, yeah.
But were they still pains in the ass? Yes. Did they still complain about everything? Yes. Yeah. Is it dumb what we're doing? Yes. I was like, guys, just you signed on for it again. Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
You know what I mean?
What are you doing, man? Yeah.
Show up and fight the sharks and shut the fuck up.
Why is that? Why the best shit, where the best shit happens, though?
I fucking love it. No, that's the
But yeah,
best.
I mean, and everybody thought, because the color correction. I mean, just you could have a whole podcast just about that movie and all the stuff in it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I was like,
of them.
people were like, oh, they did that on purpose. They would cut to I would cut to a lake where a bass fish is going through, and they're like, oh, it's a shark. It would cut to literally just
Dude, I know.
footage from a news show in Ohio or something. They put it in the movie like it was a shark in the ocean.
Esther.
What the fuck is going on here?
Dude, my kids and I watched the first 2 one night. We were laughing our asses off. We had so much fun watching it, dying. And then you just watch something like that, and you're like, this is kind of like how Airplane was back in the day. That's how I feel when I watch it.
But that was intentional.
And that was intentional, which made me believe that they made Sharknado intentional.
I see why you thought
way.
that, yeah.
Exactly, because I was just like, it's so stupid, but it's so brilliant. At the same
Not
time, it's
intentional.
so retarded, but it's so funny.
Not intentional. That's just what we got.
It was not
it's
supposed to
beautiful.
be fun.
It's beautiful.
Like Bob Ross, it was a happy accident.
Happy Accidents, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the name of the show, Happy Accidents today, by the way.
Love it.
Fuck, that's beautiful. Thank you for
So
sharing
that's
that.
so much
Seriously.
fun.
I
For
mean,
sure. Yeah, for
so
sure.
much fun.
I think
It was
a
an
lot of people would
experience.
want to know.
Yeah, for sure. And you'll never forget that experience, for sure.
Nope. That in Morocco.
No. And it's it's haunted me. Every time I get hired, somebody will say, "Oh, you did Sharknado."
Yeah. And you're like, oh, fuck you.
No,
Yeah.
take it as a compliment.
No,
Yeah, you gotta
seriously.
embrace it at this
you
point.
have to.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
have
Wait.
to.
Let's talk about my Hercules movie. That's 17th down on all of the Hercules movies that's ever been made. Let's talk about that instead of Sharknado.
Yeah, it is.
No, I have more respect for you knowing that you did that than anything else that you said, because
It's-
literally, you got
Thanks.
through
Like some
all of
shit.
that. No, and you're queen.
Man,
It's
it was
so good.
rough.
It's
It was
so good.
rough, you guys. Let me tell you.
When was that again? It was
made
that
it, though.
early
That was
2013,
2012. I think we shot it. We always shoot those movies in January. So I want
great
to
time
say
to
we
do water
shot it in
stuff.
2012 and it aired in 2013 is what I think we did.
I think that's
Yeah.
right too. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Wow, Esther. Hey, you guys got any more questions? Because she's been great.
Yes, unfortunately, but because we can't just keep talking all day
That's
because
okay.
we have to start getting ready to film again.
Oh yeah, we got to do that too.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, we got to shoot.
Good.
Dude, it's been a pleasure.
So
Esther.
much fun.
Seriously.
Thank you for having me, guys. I really enjoyed
Shit,
it.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely loved your honesty about all your experiences. I mean,
Everything,
that
yeah.
matters for people to hear. And breaking down what an AD is. I mean, that's one thing I wanted more on the show. I know we wanted more managers and agents and, people that are working behind the camera to help teach everybody, what is this shit about that we're doing in this industry and or trying to do or have done, and that shit's great. So your knowledge is important to a lot of people.
Yes.
I think they're going to get a lot out of this, and especially their hustle. They're going to hear
Good.
you and what you're fucking doing behind the camera. And I hope that they go, Jesus Christ, I ain't doing shit. I got to fucking fuck up.
Right?
Esther's
or
a badass.
they'll be there like that. I always thought I wanted to be a first AD. Now that I know what it is, I'm good.
I'm just going to be a
I'm
director.
just going to be a gaffer.
I'll just be a director. It's way easier. Anyway, absolute pleasure.
Great information
thanks,
for
guys.
everyone.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Awesome.
All right, well,
you.
good luck with your shoot, and congratulations again on your movie,
Thank you
and
so
I'll
much.
see you all around.
Yes,
Sounds great.
for sure.
It sounds great.
Good luck, guys.
Super
All right.
fun.
Take
Good
care.
luck to you.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later. Chuck, go ahead and
Bye.
close out the show, my man.
Esther, thank you for joining us today on Around the Reel. Thank you for opening up and sharing some of your experiences on all the fun things behind the camera when it comes to film. Thank you for showing. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're blonde and a lovely young white lady,
Or black.
you can survive anywhere you go.
Yeah.
If you have the right guy. So, Aaron, sorry,
No.
you're not blonde, you're not a lady, and you never have the right guide. But all things film, all things fun. And Esther, we're going to have her back on again to talk about some of those other things, especially some of the things that she's like, that's a conversation for another show, because, there is a PTSD, there is a feeling of loss when films come to an end.
Yes.
And as much as I hate to say it, this show has come to an end as well.
Oh.
So everybody, I'll just leave you with the same old saying of, think hard, get it on your underwear, because you're thinking anyway. Bye.
See everybody later.
Bye. For those of you that want to be a guest on Around the Reel, please email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
Not Messenger. Do not message Aaron on Messenger, because then he has to send you a message that says email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
How come they can't just message me again?
Because nobody wants to fucking talk to you.
Can anybody reach out? That's an artist, filmmaker, actor?
If you're an artist of any kind, we want to hear from you.
But we are going to vet the crap out of you.
We don't care if you make millions of dollars in Hollywood or if you're just beginning your career in the art industry. We don't care. So everybody that wants to be on Around the Reel, yes, we want you.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.